Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of PM Express. Now, it has been whispered that Ghana was at the brink of war in 2008. From where you sit and looking at the political discourse, are we safe as a country, and will we come out of election 2012 unscathed? Tonight, we'll put the focus on we'll focus our lenses on the political temperature, which is currently ongoing in the country, and then we'll touch on the discourse. We will look at the happenings, the language, and the campaign trail in general. You can watch us live here on PM Express Live on your Joy News channel, or we're streaming live on the internet at stream.myjoyonline.com. You can also be part of the show by sending us your text by short code 1760, or you can post them on our Facebook wall. Tonight, I have with me in the studio, to my immediate left, Honorable Inusa Hussaini, who is NDC MP for Tamale Central. And then next to him, I have Dr. Kofi Konadu Apreku, who is a former MPP campaign coordinator. He was in the thick of affairs during the MPP campaigns for 2008. And then I have Captain Budu Kumsen, who is Chief Operating Officer for UT Holdings and is also a board member of Imani Ghana. Gentlemen, it's great to have you on the show. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Let me start with you, Captain. You put in context the current political environment for us to understand whether we have any cause for worry a few days to the elections, really.
Okay. Thank you for having me on the show to share my ideas. I'm talking purely as a concerned private citizen. I'm not a politician, I'm not a security couple, but a passionate citizen of Ghana. Now, I witnessed 2008, like I said, the day Accra shut down in broad daylight, just out of panic of what they were hearing on the airwaves, you know, and my office overlooks the road around Cocoa House, going towards Makola, and then going towards Circle. And cars were even driving in opposite directions. People were just picking the things and running, and they didn't know what was coming. Just panic. That scene has never left me since that time. And that evening, after close, I passed by the Electoral Commission, and it was mayhem. We had people who were out on the streets. They had gathered there. They've actually overwhelmed the police, the few policemen there. So there was no way they could keep any order. They were intermingled. And coming from that background, I know what it means. And I saw these poor, hapless, young policemen, absolutely abnormal, actually in the crowds. So my fear was that some of them could panic if they are not bold. Now, if anyone panicked and there was an accidental discharge, there was going to be pandemonium and there would have been bloodshed. You know, so I said, what is it that brought us there? What is it that brought us there? Now, if we can know what it is that brought us there, what measures are we putting in place to try to prevent us from getting there? And so you want to identify who are the stakeholders, who are the players, what it is that caused us to get to that point. And that has been my concern. I wish I had had this talk about a year or two earlier, so that it would not be like the last minute. But I've been asking friends and strangers, how do you feel about 2012, Ghana 2012, the up and coming? They say, I'm apprehensive. To the person, everybody was apprehensive. Then I said, who is a boogeyman? What is causing your apprehension, right? Now, if we know who the boogeyman is and what is causing the apprehension, then we can address it. And I realized that, in fact, some went to the extent I thought, look, I will skip out and come back after the election. Then jokingly I said, then what happens to your vote? Maybe I'll have to hold proxy for about as many people as I could possibly hold. So I've been saying that let us address our minds to that day. We didn't like what happened that time. And are we doing anything concrete to alleviate the situation or not to recklessly get to that point? And sometimes the sort of things that happen make me feel that we haven't learned that lesson enough. Listen just to the airwaves, the discussions, you know, the accusations. Just this morning, right, you hear about the champion man himself in the whole thing, in the hotspot, I mean, Electoral Commission. Things that do not engender confidence in the populace. That is what we should avoid. I listened to the Chief Justice a few weeks ago. She gave a lecture, I think, at the British Council. And the theme of her the thing that she kept on saying is that, look, we have to do everything to ensure the integrity of the outcome of what we are going to do. If we do things and it's the public. If we are not assured that everything is in order, and people can easily then be manipulated because they are already discontented, apprehensive. Do you understand? This is my cry, and I'm saying that the principal actors, let us name them and find out what is it that they are doing.
Who are the principal actors, in your opinion?
In my opinion, the principal actor in this stage is the politician. He wants to be elected. There are the people going around the country telling us all sorts of things. And the hangers-on, right, doing their master's bidding. Then you have the technocrats who also do a lot, although they are not in the front line political activity. We tend to overlook them. But they contribute a lot to what comes out. I mean, the EC itself is a technocrat. Look at the up and down, the hoopla about the creation of this 45 new, something is sent to Parliament. People say that it is not good enough, but we try to push it through, and that this tug of war until it accepted, it is withdrawn and brought in and passed and all these. You see, what happens is that we the people out here say that, hey, if it had been accepted and passed, did we know the consequences of what it had been if it had not been rectified? We went as far as saying that let us pass the faulty instrument and rectify it as we go. Where is the time? Do we have the luxury of time? My issue is that the timing of it. Is it the best timing? Right? I understand. And it is also said that it isn't everything that is maybe lawful or your right that may be good at the time. You understand? So was the timing right? Are we engendering confidence in what is coming? Are we engendering, or we are sowing the seeds for those who will lose anyway, to hijack the process by putting, what do you call it, going to court, what do they call this term? Injunction here, injunction there, and then our, what do you call it, our learned brothers will pull all the tricks in the back to hijack the process, and therein lies the threat. You understand? So what I'm saying is that our politicians, as they go around and talk, they should be mindful of the fact that we have only this country, and we should not beat any war drums or dare anybody. In our language, it says, you chase the coward, or you think you are the toughest man. One day, the coward will stand and fight. You know, so let's, after all, there's no enemy here. Who's the enemy? We should not posture as if there is an enemy. It's alleged that some political activists have even been seen at party functions in traditional war regalia. Which war are they going to? Who is the enemy?
Captain, I'll come back to you for us to explore solutions. Now, let me ask you, Dr. Apreku, you've been a bit low-key in the political discourse lately. What have you been up to?
Oh, I haven't been at all. There are all levels of participation. I'm a member of the campaign committee. I chair some of the campaign committees. I'm a member of the campaign team and chair even a committee. We've been working. We've been at this business for quite some time. There are a lot more younger people that we want to have them be at the forefront. But we are going.
You're still working.
Very, very
working
hard.
The same as you were working in 2008, right?
Very, very much. No difference at all.
As coordinator for
that time, I was the campaign manager.
Yeah. Campaign manager.
So
great.
It's a different role that I'm playing, because that point you are basically the main actor in that business. Now I'm not, because we have a new campaign manager, but I'm playing a very important role.
What I needed to establish was that your role in 2008, looking at the simmering tensions. I mean, I was in Tyne as a correspondent for Joy FM at the time, and I must tell you, I didn't feel safe as a journalist. Would you say these tensions, which does not appear to me to have died down, are normal characteristics of the adventure of democracy?
Absolutely not. We should not tolerate the tensions that we went through in 2008, and we should not even wish it for our enemies. Why? It's a simple choice. We are all civilized. We are one people. We share common destiny. We are friends. Nusa and I, we are colleagues. We are parliamentarians. We are friends. But when it comes to the act of politicking, it seems that we are possessed by something that goes beyond. The possession is dangerous.
Where does it come from?
Well,
is it the craving for power, the insatiable desire to lord yourself over the citizens, or what? What is it?
It shouldn't be that either. It should be a determination to put across your views. It should be a determination to make your country better. It should be a determination that you have ideas that you believe you can compete with anybody on those ideas, and on the basis of that competition of ideas, our people will make the ultimate decision. And when the people would have decided, none of us is bigger. However bad the choice may be, that is the essence of democracy. When the people would have spoken, we all fall in line. What we have refused to do, and in my sense of it, we went through hell in 2008.
If you describe going through the election as hell, that's another problem, isn't it?
No, during the latter part, over the voting period, it was very difficult. And I think people were restrained to act magnanimously, to act with foresight, to act with a degree of patriotism. Otherwise, our country perhaps would not be where we are now. And that caution, you can only push a person to that level, perhaps only once. And that is exactly what my colleague has said now, that when you push a person to a certain level, you lose control. And we should not push ourselves to that level, that we may react in a way that will undermine the whole process. Let me just give you what I see as happening. Where the laws will fail to work, when people who have the power to make decisions refuse to act decisively and transparently, then you are caught in trouble.
You want to give us an example?
Very well. President Mills, I'm talking about the preparations that we are making towards this election. And for that reason, obviously, I have to talk about the NDC mandate. And it started very early on. When they won the election in 2008, the post-election violence that we witnessed, we've never witnessed that as far as I can remember. The events at Aboburushi, people were killed. The events in Tamale, people were killed. Broad daylight. Our campaign headquarters became a refugee camp. People from Market, people from all parts of Accra were camped at that office for days and days and days. It's enough to lose an election. And then to be targeted and to be prosecuted and to be abused and beaten and shot at is too much to ask. So we started on the wrong foot. And this continued. All kinds of things happen. In the Tamale case, which he knows, people are still going to court. In our judgment, even victims are the ones that are having to defend themselves in Tamale. And it's going on even as we speak. They have just been transferred over here.
Is that why the NPP has re-echoed its stance of all die we die, which the NDC will never leave it, really?
I have just started, and let me develop the argument. I'm just starting from where it began. Now, we went through. President Mills even was nicknamed as Mugwehene. And all we are saying is that it's good to be a peaceful person. It's good to advocate peace. But based on what has happened, in the past, what has happened in recent past, we need more than just the political rhetoric. Why do I say this? President Mills went to the United Nations last year and declared and proclaimed to the world that there was going to be a peaceful election in Ghana, and came back to the country less than 2-3 months thereafter. We went through a registration process. Never before in the history of the Fourth Republic. I'm not that old to know about what happened during Kwame Nkrumah's time or even the Busia period. But I know enough. I've been around enough. I've been actively involved in all the elections that we have had in all political activities since 1982. Never before have we had a registration process that had degenerated so much into violence. And also
everyone has something to say
Let me
about
develop
what
my
their
argument.
reason is.
Let me develop. I'm just giving you what gives us cause to worry. Because if just registration can deteriorate into this degree of violence, when internationally, publicly, we have proclaimed that we are going to have peaceful election, then you must begin to see manifestations of election that is going to be free from violence. You ought to be seeing some measures that are being put in place. You ought to see some consultations that are being put in place. But when a government proclaims that they will have peaceful election, when their own track record does not support that, you begin to wonder why this Mama, Mills, and Misa government, they've not conducted any general election. They have not supervised any general election. But they have supervised by-elections, 3 by-elections. 1 Shriponi, 1 Akwitia, 1 Etiwa. You live in this country just as I do. And you were here, I suppose, during this period. Look at the level of violence that we witnessed in all these 3 by-elections.
Captain Budu, I want to ask you, these things that Dr. Apreku is raising, are they sufficient reasons why perhaps MPP and MPP supporters and sympathizers should feel agitated to self-defense, for example?
You see, this is what is causing my concern. And yesterday I gave a quote, and I will quote again with your permission, from Proverbs 27, verse 12. And I'll quote, it says, "The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and suffer for it." This is a scenario he is painting. We got to the edge on 2008. Did we digest what led? Who were the principal actors? What were the instances and what were the causes, the players that got us there? And what could we rectify? You understand? That it means the prudent has seen danger and you are taking refuge. But it goes further, says that, but the simple. And to make it very, very vivid, I say the stupid keep going. See danger, they keep going and go and crash. From 2008, the cliffhanger, the chaos here, from what he's saying, instances have kept on going. And I dare say that Honorable Inusa can also give us instances, which is, in opinion, also, you know, this politics of equation. It's disgusting. You did this, or you two also do this.
Alhaji Yusuf Hussaini, is it disgusting from where you stand?
Well, I think I agree entirely with him, and I am shocked at Dr. Apreku's submission. You say, as leaders, we are supposed to be useful and responsible citizens of this nation. Dr. Apreku, we have to lead our people, even if it means leading them from behind. If we see that a posturing is wrong, we don't have to justify it with impunity. What we have sought to do on this platform is to justify actions.
No.
Yes. Let me. Please, let me.
Dr. Apreku, let me make Alhaji make his submission, then I'll give you the chance.
First of all, Dr. Apreku establishes, in his opinion, developments that occurred during a biometric registration in certain parts of this country and extends by logical deduction to conclude that that was the worst biometric or registration exercise in this country. And I tell you, I was registering in Tamale as a member of parliament, take a phone, call Lamakara. I was attacked. But I don't mention,
right.
I don't mention it. I don't mention
right?
it. I will not mention it because I get the people to understand that it's wrong. I've spoken to condemn this. It's wrong. Now, you see, Doctor, you gave Tamale as an example. How did the Tamale incident come about? That's why I think that what you were doing was justifying an action that is patently wrong for any political leader to do. Why? Tamale action occurred in the butcher's shop. Butchers were fighting. It turned out that one of them was MPP, the other was NDC, but they were butchers selling from the same shop.
And what
when the
was
MPP
conflict?
about their trade.
Was it a trade or they were discussing political discourse?
No, it was trade. First of all, they were in the butcher's shop.
Okay.
It was trade. Now, because it was between the NDC and the MPP, you know, any political conflict, whether in the butcher's shop or anywhere in the market, occurring between people who subscribe to two political philosophies, you don't take care. You don't pretend to be a security expert. But I can tell you that any political conflict amongst two people, whether between a landlord or a tenant, will come to politics. It says, look, I'm being ejected from this house because I subscribe to this political party. So when doesn't happen?
You have a reaction.
So when doesn't happen?
That should the fact that the political degeneration
That's why we should diffuse.
Effectively diffuse.
That's why we should diffuse. For instance, when you justify.
The thing is, you
Let's
didn't
hear
let
Dr.
him even
April.
finish.
Let's hear
just
Dr.
like you didn't let him finish. I think it's
Let's
wrong.
hear
I
Dr.
was
April.
developing a case.
Okay.
You did not let me finish.
Okay.
The essence of all of this presentation is not the fact that it has occurred. The inability to punish those that are involved, whether the MPP or NDC, to me is the issue. If butchers are fighting and it degenerates and degenerate into political confusion, violence, that is why there are laws in this country. And all that I'm trying to get us to focus on is our inability, for whatever reason, to make sure that the law works and that people who have wrongly done things or taken the laws into their hands are punished irrespective of their political leaning. That's the argument I'm making. I am not here interested in finding fault with NDC or MPP.
Good.
The essence of it is that the political leadership has failed to provide the strong leadership, to provide non-selective justice, so that every Ghanaian who is found to be foul with the law is punished. Our inability to do so, to me, is the issue.
Do you agree,
Again, this is very partisan. Why? I was developing the point. So, when the fight erupted, the MPP guy rushed out and said he was being attacked by NDC. The butcher shop is around an MPP stronghold. But because it's around that place, he was able to mobilize an attack. And that led to shooting. And that led to the death of one of the guys in the shop. That NDC. You see that turned into political violence.
Reacted.
They also reacted.
So
then it turned into burning of houses and all those things. So for me and you,
how many people have been
for me
arrested
and
and prosecuted
for me
within
and
the 3-year period?
That is what I say. For me and you, the responsibility is to get people to understand that because we are human beings, we have our differences. Conflicts between individuals must not extend to politics. That is our responsibility.
And when it does, when the
Agbogloshi incident happened, do you hear the minority leader speak? It was about equalization. Why? For him, the police had to arrest certain people. Now, but there is evidence that these people came and were staying at a place near Kolebu. They had moved from the northern part of this country, and they were intent on taking over their houses or their hamlets at Agbogbloshie. When that thing happened, people had information.
Climate, and as
They
you
ought to have
saw from
acted
our first
responsibly
segment,
by
the
getting
tensions
the
are
police
high
to stop
this way
the people.
all year round.
What?
And the question I want to
That is
press
for me and
is,
you.
we're gauging this accusation, counter-accusation has been going on all year since, well, I mean, since 2009 that the new government took over. The political tensions have never gone down. MPP accuses NDC. NDC also accuses MPP. There is recently the issues of secret tapes that are released. Now there is one allegedly from Anthony Cabo. All of these, what do you think is happening in our country?
I have said that it looks like we've been blessed to the extent that we've been spoiled. You know, we pray a lot. We either going to the mosque, the mosque, or the church. We are 24/7 in church praying to God. And the old man says, one of these days is going to get tired with us. You know. And we got to be careful. You know. But then that aside, I think that is the problem. You see, first we look at what is the security context in which we are even at. Money laundering, trafficking, who are the open border, all these things. We have the international dimension, we have the local dimension where even tribes coexist. You see the conflagrations, the Hohoi, the Ethro, what religious, all these things. And then we throw in this political, agitated,
which is deadly.
manipulated violence.
Which in your estimation is deadly.
It's deadly.
Very
It's a potent mixture. That's why we say that let us consciously ask ourselves, who are the actors? And what can we do proactively to stem this tide? And I'm saying that the politician is the primary actor, coupled with what our media people will also do, which is also very deadly at times, coupled with our technocrats who are always hiding in the background and putting fire inside. But then there is hope. There is hope in the sense that we still have the police force. In fact, they are the goalkeepers. And I am saying that, one, we will appeal to our political friends to consciously come on stage, tell your people before you start any rally, tell them, give them the message that we are all preaching peace. I say that we should force you, the politicians, to positively address this issue. And that is my agenda. We, the people, I say we are the kingmakers. Ghanaians should finally find their voice and tell the politicians, you work for us. Your duty, the basic duty of the two of you who want power, the security of the state is your primary responsibility. So you have to do everything to ensure this thing. But then I'm saying that finally when you talk to people, we are like resigned that, look, the violence, it will come. Look at it will come. So therefore, what do? But we reluctantly and almost in despair said, well, let us look up to the police and the security agencies to help us. It shouldn't only their responsibility. But if we, the public, stand up and say that, look, you guys, enough is enough, help us stop this thing or stop it. And then we tell the IGP and his commanders that, look, we are behind you, because what is the number of the politicians? The rest are hangers on and the people they influence. Influence them. What about, it isn't everybody who is a diehard. I will vote for the ideas I want. I'll vote for the one I have confidence in, like Honorable News has said. We should allow everybody to vote, right? But then I won't go out there fighting. But if there's going to be violence, it's we, the public, that suffer. So we should encourage the police to act. And there's a glimmer of hope. Some of the commanders have even started talking, almost out of 10. That one of the basic challenges they fear is political interference in investigations and all sorts of things. We are saying that we, the public, should support the police, actively, openly support the police, and convince the IGP and his commanders also to come out, maybe with his political masters, on one stage, preaching peace, and then to we, the Ghanaians, publicly declare that come this election period, me and my commanders will be aggressively neutral. We will deal professionally and hard, real hardball with any deviant behavior, whether you are a minister, you are an MP, you are who. If you are seen to be causing trouble, you will be dealt with immediate, supported by the Chief Justice, who said she's also putting in measures to deal and dispatch with these cases. Then it will engender confidence in us. And I know that when the politicians, they like our votes, they want our votes, when they hear that this is what they want, we want, they will address the issue. And I'm appealing to Ghanaians that it's high time we found our voice. We found some spine. Yesterday, someone called me, are you okay? I said, okay, what? I'm very okay. I'm a responsible citizen. I love Ghana. I'm speaking for peace for Ghana. Why should I be afraid? We should find some courage and stand up to these people and say, look, enough is enough. If this country should go awry, we will suffer most, especially our mothers and the children. A lot of them have the wherewithal even to skip the borders. But we will be left here, right? And so we should encourage the police. The police should come up openly with them, demonstratively on stage, declare his position, and we will give the police the
But my point now is that I'll get political commitments from yourself, but my point now is that must it always be like this? We've had, what, 6 elections in this country, and each one tends to be more tensed than the other. I mean, in 2008, there was kind of media rhetoric which said this was a do-and-die affair, or I've forgotten some of the descriptions that came for. But don't forget that these words come from the politicians themselves.
That's what I'm not saying, that they should declare and join us to say to our people, they have the platforms, I don't have a platform, to say to them that, look, this is not war. Honorable Inusa and Apreku, they are friends. They don't get out here and fight, but those guys out there may argue until they start fighting. Let us say that before any rally starts, we, the politicians, will preach peace. Talk to our followers. If you talk to your followers, they will listen to you more than when the opponent talks to him. And he is also talking to his followers. So that, I mean, if we all go in that same direction, even if there were some people who were planning some mischief, they will tone down a little bit. But let me give you an idea why this thing happens. You see, at a workshop organized by the Presbyterian Church, on the theme, how can Ghana's democracy be sustained without violence, vengeance, vindictiveness, malice, and insults? One of the declarations they came out with, or observations, was that people rig elections. Rigging is not just a rigging, but all sorts of violence is rigging. Resort to violence and refuse to accept genuine election results because they don't want to lose power and privilege to slip out of their hands. They will do anything to maintain power. Therefore, and that's if they will get away with it, they will resort to violence to seize or hold on to power by hook or crook. If they will get away with it, that's what we are saying, that they're getting away, they should not be allowed to get away. When they know that the police has declared that if some people, hoodlums, are organized to go and try to seize the ballot box, they will be so seriously dealt with. The next guy standing somewhere will think twice.
Alhaji Inusa Fuseini, tell me, what is your party's commitment to ensure that this year's election and elections beyond this year will be peaceful and that the tones of political agitation will be coming down?
Steve Auntie, I am actively in the field. I'm contesting elections. I'm campaigning for my party in the field. I do not see the level of apprehension in this year's election as that which characterizes the 2008 elections. And so I think that the 2012 elections will see that heightened tension as we observed in 2008. Now,
what are your indicators?
My indicators
what makes you convinced
one
this
most
way?
convincing thing is that in this election, I mean, no one can attempt to vote twice. No one.
Because of biometric voter registration.
Very well. So even if you register at different places, the biometric register has been able to fish out those names. Now, there's a higher propensity to cheat. So people, when they voted 1, 2, 3, or 4, this time they're not going to get it. 3, what normally activates or motivates people to act violently is to prevent others from voting, and that's the rigging that you referred to. But elections are not won by violence. The country can only be destabilized by violence, but not an election. So it's incumbent, it behooves on all of us as politicians to let our people know that this is about leadership. It's a leadership contest that we are going into. We should give the people an opportunity to select leaders that, in their view, can rule this country. That is all.
And I ask for your party's commitment to that, not just rhetoric, really.
My party's commitment to peace and peaceful election and securing the integrity of this election is not in doubt. No. Look.
I suggested one thing you guys can do. One concrete thing. That at the beginning of every rally, you get on the stage.
You make a
the
peace
first
declaration.
thing is tell them that, look, it's about peace, it's about leadership context, it's about nominating your leaders, not about fighting. If you guys will give us your word.
Is that enough?
Well, at least it's something.
I'm telling you, that is more than enough. That is more than enough.
It is something.
Because in the minds of some people, they think that you have to show machoism and power before you can win election. But that is not the case.
Dr. Preku.
In 2008, I told the Tamale Central people, I mean, you see, when I'm talking about the violence, and it's unfortunate that Dr. Preku referred to Agbogbloshie and Tamale. Both incidents involved people in Tamale Central.
Dr. Preku, your party's commitment to ensure peace.
We have no reservation. We have no reservation whatsoever of our commitment to peaceful election. None whatsoever. We demonstrated that last 2008 election. If we had hesitated, if we had been on offensive with the government machinery at our disposal, this country would not be the same today.
And you think you must be commended?
Whether we are commended or not, that is not the issue. What we have done is what we demand of others. Let the voices of the people be heard. But I don't happen to agree with you that just going on a political platform and declaring that we want peace. That's what NDC has been preaching. That's what Professor Mill has earned a name as Mugwehin. It did not prevent the violence we saw during registration. That's not enough. It's easy to talk. I want to see systematic programs in place. Programs, plans, and actions that have been laid down that will give confidence to people. That indeed I can wake up, walk to the polls, cast my vote, come back home in peace and in security. And it does not happen out of a vacuum. It happens within rules, regulations set about with lines of responsibility were defined such that my sense of it is primarily the responsibility of government to help create that environment. Basically, my point of departure can be summed up with saying that if human beings were angels, there would be no laws. We are not angels. And what you wish, even through proclamation and whatever, in the final analysis, there should be a basis to verify whether things are happening. And I'm saying that everywhere in the world, the government is in charge of security for election, for everyday lives. They ensure that the rules work. And I'm calling on this government to convene a meeting of the political leadership, parties that are registered to participate in this year's election, with the Ministry of Interior and all the relevant institutions to look at plans and programs and actions that will guide this election to ensure security for every Ghanaian. It should lay out rules and regulation, responsibility, and recourse so that when we are in doubt, we know who to speak to. As of today, we don't know anything. The president talks about commitment to peace. It can't be in a vacuum. Where are the rules? Who are the people? If you go and appoint regional commanders and keep rotating regional police commanders, if you set the election task force headed by those who have vested interest in the election itself, do you give confidence to people that indeed there will be peace? And it's been there. When you go to the district assembly, security task force, campaign task force, who are the people there? Who appoint them? Is there any consultation with any political parties? Are the rules that they set subject to discussion? Does anybody have any input into those rules? If it has not been done properly in the past, we are growing, we are maturing every day. We should be improving our institutions.
Captain, so what Dr. Preku is saying is that if we get the foundations wrong, all other things will go wrong. Now, beyond this, you've in your presentation yesterday, you raised quite a number of other issues. You spoke about the drug issue. You spoke about our open borders and rebels and our domestic security situation. Really, what are the concerns there? And must we worry that these will become a recipe for disaster?
Yes, that was just to put into context the environment this whole thing is taking place in. You understand? Because I just put into context that, look, these drug theft, they are not interested in us, like the report say, they don't just want to pass. But my issue is that, should we not take that issue seriously? And they decide to use just a fraction of that money to pay facilitation rights in this area, you know, to pave their way. Can you imagine what it can do to our systems? We have this, our open borders because of our ECOWAS protocols, and we have wars raging all around us. Definitely we have these warlords transiting here. There have been seizures of ammunition and pump action gas and these things, which means that arms trafficking is going through. This is the context. We have local issues too, our religious things and all these things. Look, within a space of 2 weeks from my joy online, there were clashes in 5 of the regions. So the embers of the fire
are there already.
All I'm saying is that this election period comes with its own political tension, which could ignite, like the honorables are saying. You understand? As soon as the argument in the street becomes political, it can ignite into something. That's why I'm saying we should prevent the spark. For instance, I also shared the opinion of Honorable Preku when he says that we, the people, to engender confidence in us and therefore calm our fears, we should see that the state has made adequate preparations, timely preparations, and so that we start getting confidence in us. When the actors themselves are saying we don't know where we are going, we think the preparations are not adequate, we don't know who is responsible, the timelines are being compressed. It doesn't augur well. We are here. I mean, we can do better than that. And for instance, yesterday we made some recommendations that the leadership of the police should make a public declaration, just what I said, that the stakeholders in the nation about their absolute professionalism and what we call aggressive neutrality. This they claim that policemen were standing by. People were...
They were escorting them.
I don't know, that Prof. Doc, I
saw
wasn't
it on
there.
TV.
You see, the thing is that sometimes, somewhere else, also during your regime, the NDC was also accusing you that when people do things, maybe because they are connected with the MPP, they also start around with impunity. That's why we are saying that they should declare that aggressive neutrality, right, throughout this period to ensure security and integrity of the state. It will give us some confidence. We are also saying that the regional and district security committees should not be in charge of elections around that time because they are part players. You can't have a football game where the referee is part of another team. The linesman is part of another team. So we are suggesting that for this period, security arrangements should be vested in the police, the regional commanders, district, and the electoral officials responsible for this, so that they can then declare, that is when they can declare, supported by the MPs themselves, that we are in affirmation, that should anybody go deviant, we will deal with him rigorously to forestall. Now, when we get this, we will get a modicum of confidence in the process, and this is that is coming.
Well, gentlemen, I have a couple of messages from our audience, which I'll quickly run through some of them. This one from Kweku Finn, who sent this message from Takwa. He says, NDC has nothing good to offer Ghanaians, so they should stop the noise. I don't know what you base that premise on. Stephen, I don't understand the phrase, are we safe? Is Nigeria safe? Then Ghana is safe. MPP will win. That's from Emmanuel from Takwa. And please, Ghanaians, wisen up. If Wyoming alone corrupted NDC officials under Mills's government, imagine what will happen under President Mahama's government. And Doctor, what happened to Yana's case during the MPP time? Does Apreku really know what we, the NDC in Tamale, went through under MPP? It was like Palestinians on Israeli soil. This is from Olu Tamale. And then Yao from Tema says, when will MPP people learn the natural courtesy of not heckling others? Is a big shame. And then this one from Ija in Dansoman. He says, Honorable Alhaji, please, you have a very good forum to release tension. Your reactions to factual matters is unfair. You're being emotionally abusive and overreacting. Captain, you should have started your campaign earlier. In any case, your quotes must be published in a full page in all the dailies. Good evening. And then this one from Jato in Wa. He says that Apreku, Yana was killed under your government. Did you prosecute anyone for that? Be honest for once. And then another one, well, same Jato said the same thing. And then this one from Captain Lizo, he says, it's quite interesting, Dr. Apreku, also known as Dr. Should tell us how many people were arrested and prosecuted when Yana was killed. And this one again from Joshua Wa says, Doctor, what happened to Yana's case during MPP time? This seemed to be going through all the messages that are coming from the northern part of this country. And K from Ho says, Dr. Apreku has succeeded in destroying the discussion in a typical MPP fashion from the onset. And then another one from Musa from Gusheu says that until party chairmen stop directing police who to arrest or not and stop causing transfer of police officers, I fear for Ghana. And Al Hassan also said, what kind of analysis is Mr. Apreku making? He has disappointed some of us. And another one from Mohammed in Tamale says that I'm totally disappointed in Honorable Hussaini. If two parties had conflict, how come only MPP supporters in Tamale have been on remand since 2008 when over 30 houses belonging to MPP supporters where no one burnt yet? Is a remand for, well, I don't understand the remaining part of your message. And this one from Ken from Taifa, he says that NDC is corrupt and it is this propaganda that brings all the tension. And then Joe Banye from Wa says, any fear of insecurity in this electioneering year can be attributed to indecent speeches made by some politicians. So we should be careful about their choice of words. Captain, these comments which are coming, do they worry you, the tone of them?
Sure. I mean, some of the comments have not been fair. I mean, to us or the panelists. But generally, you see, everything has been divided into NDC banana, MPP cake, CPP guava.
It's not very good. Let me hear from Alhaji Inusa Hussaini.
That's exactly what I said from the beginning. For me, I think that all this discussion was premised on the fact that we sitting here have an opportunity to preach to the people of Ghana about the need for peace. It is not for nothing that we as Ghanaians are found where we are found. God, in His infinite wisdom, put us here. And we have only one country. When we leave this country under circumstances that is in the state of a conflict, we become refugees. We have to do everything to secure the territorial integrity of this country and the social cohesion of the country. We must be alive to this as politicians. So that is why I have always said elections should not be a matter of war.
It should not be a life and death affair.
No. Now, to be honest with you, I've gone through trying times in Tamale. In 2008, I was searched as member of parliament for the constituency 9 times in my vehicle on which there was a parliamentary sticker from Accra to Tamale. I made a report, nothing happened. But I take it as part of the occupational hazard. I don't sing it. I tell people.
Is it still happening to the others?
Well, I don't know. But if it is happening, it must stop.
It must stop. That is
That
it.
is it.
Dr.
You don't
Preku,
just
going
decide.
into Dr. Preku, going into these elections, what should your party be focusing on doing to ensure there will be peace?
We're focusing on the issues. We are not abusive. We will not get involved in violence activities. Our people are very focused. We have messages that resonate very well with the people, and that has been our concentration. Even when Akufo-Addo is being insulted publicly, through the press, everywhere, he's maintained his focus. And that's what he's encouraging
Alhaji
our people
Hussaini,
to
can
do.
you say same?
Focus on the issues and leave the personality politics out of it.
Throughout 2009 to date, I've not heard a single NDC member say that Ghana would be like Afghanistan if we don't win elections. I've not heard one.
Who has made that statement?
Oh, you don't know? Go back, check the records.
I'm asking.
Yeah, go back, check. But so Ghana
If
cannot
it's so
be.
obvious, tell me.
Oh, it's so obvious. Anthony Cabo, also obvious.
But the thing is that the
what I'm
man
saying
has
is that
denied it,
no,
and
not
he
even
said
now,
he
not
didn't
even
say
now,
it.
not now. Before.
Can I end with an advice?
What I'm just saying is
to
that
my
for
brothers?
us, let's not. Before we went into politics, you were a medical doctor,
No, I was economist. Yeah.
economist.
Yeah.
Now when you leave politics, you are going back there.
Ah,
Before
well.
I came into politics, I was a legal practitioner. When I leave politics, I'm going back to my law. Let people understand that politics should not be the end all.
Captain,
That is all.
you appear to be the natural arbiter. Tell me in a minute.
In a minute.
What should we be doing? What kind of work should we be putting into a peaceful election? Maybe I should put it that way.
Well, we should first of all dismantle the so-called groupings we have formed to cause whatever, is it mayhem? First it started with Azwaka Boys. I thought it was a joke. And now I know that apparently he's a human being. Why he's running around with all those exploits after his name and he's still a free man, I don't know. Then we had the Bamba Boys. Then we had the Maxwell. What were they all for? Disband them. The police should go after and disband them because these are the so-called macho men, protectors and all these paramilitary people. They are not even military. Some people. And then came in the all die be die, I guess out of exasperation. And then came in the Martyrs Fund. All die be die, I want to tell you, Honorable Sir, they say, my boot camps at Jimeja told me that some die be foolish die. So it's not all die be die. And then to the Martyrs Fund. Do we have some terrorists in this country? Are we encouraging people to go and fight and get maimed or shot or killed so that we pay their families? I am saying that Ghanaians should demand of those who instituted that fund that they should be the first beneficiaries of that fund. They should personally die for the people to go and get their martyrs check. Or their children should die and he should collect it. Then we know that it is true. But if they are not prepared to do that, it should start from the top. They should all dismantle these.
Start from the top. I'll
They
take
should all
a few of your
dismantle
messages
these-
and then
Martyrs Fund,
we'll bounce off
the
here.
philosophy
we need
behind
a
the
good
Martyrs Fund was not for, to give, payment or compensation to people who had gone and used their energies to cause violence and die. The Martyrs Fund was simply to see and treat people who, through political campaigns, had gotten injured. You know, many people ride motorbikes, and when they do, they can get maimed.
Well,
Many people
gentlemen,
travel in
I'm
cars.
afraid our time is up. We're already behind time. And Alukus from Tamale says the EC must watch out because the Ghanaian has entrusted in them the role of the caretaker as in the NDC situation. So we don't want any hunky-punky deals. The only legacy of the electorate is their vote. So the EC must get serious with the voter, MPP all the way. And it's all... If all of us are working towards peace, no leader should beat war drums. This is from Evans Takradi. And Love Ghana Roba from WA says, Dr. Preku, are you sure you are on the ground? Please don't justify violence. We need peace. And then this one from Salam Bolga says, how can we as a nation deal with party supporters who troop to police stations when a colleague is arrested? And then this one has no name, says, all those who preach should take a neutral stand politically. In Techiman, just after peace program, acid was poured on someone. Do we want peace when we decide to silence our opponents through violence? Well, that's a question we all have to answer. Mustafa from Kubori says, please ask Honorable Inusuf Hussaini why he does not condemn his supporters for destroying MPP candidates. And then when Nanado wanted peace and visited President Rawlings, the NDC politicized it. This is from Idru from Tamale. And Adam Brakatue says the unifier has come and gone. Let us all emulate him. Asumjehini Dabro. Rest in peace. And how can an IGP be aggressively neutral when his position is hinged on and coterminous with that of the president? We need strong institutions. Yeah, from Winneba. I'm afraid we are unable to read the rest of your messages, but thanks for sending them anyway. My name is Stephen Enti, and we had great discussion here. And join us again tomorrow for PM Express Corporate Wednesday. Constituency Watch follows right after. Good night.